Podcast. I'm the gentleman, accompanied by the disturbed Southern Belle.
Hello.
And in this episode, we will be continuing on our cryptid by state. Our first state in this episode is Connecticut. And our first cryptid is the Melonheads of Fairfield County, which, very unique name.
It is. And I think saw some videos and things of people supposedly, catching videos of these. And they're weird looking. If that, of course, if that was a real thing.
So, as for the description of these pale, spindly figures are said to be spotted in the densely wooded areas of southwest Connecticut. Their heads are described as being unnaturally large and bulbous, like a sickly, oversized melon. Okay, interesting here.
Kind of mean name, too.
Yeah.
If it was something that had feelings, you would think it's kind of cruel to point out its most... Well, I mean, it might not care, but we would be pointing it out as something, unappealing about it. So it's like melonhead. But anyway.
So, encounters with these creatures are often described as being volatile and violent.
Ooh!
As they have been said to throw rocks at cars that pass too closely to their domain. They are also said to snatch livestock and even abduct children who wander too close to their wooded homes.
Oh my goodness.
So that's interesting.
That's crazy. Well, how big are these? I mean, what kind of, well, never mind. It just says livestock. When I think livestock, sometimes it pops in your head, something like a large goat or a cow or, something of good size, but it could be something like a chicken.
It very well could be,
so okay. It didn't have to be that big. Okay.
So, as for their origins, one theory claims that they are descendants of escaped mental patients at Fairfield State Hospital, which is a now defunct mental institution.
Okay.
So,
that's
humans, apparently.
That's kind of...
Melonheads are humans.
Okay.
Or at least part human.
Right.
So, it's said that the parents fled to the woods where they... the patients, fled into the woods where they went on to inbreed, which led to a colony of deformed and feral offspring.
So we got the hills have eyes situation going on kind of thing, sort of ish, because that's kind of what that movie, was, except they were supposed to be kind of messed up from all that radiation, right, from them bombing and stuff, but still they were supposed to be inbreeding and stuff. Oh, that's creepy.
Personally, I think... or when I think of inbreeding, I think it was a American Horror Stories episode where the couple lost their son one day in the woods and all that years ago.
It's known to go on. I mean, there was even a documentary on like that most inbred family, and it's sad, the real things that happen when people do that. So if that's true, I mean, you could see people being very feral and very... crazy, especially if they're just out in the woods, with no real human interact. You know what I'm saying? Human action. Ugh, that's sad.
Anyways, another theory poses a more tragic story as the origin of the creatures. In this telling, the Melonheads are children that were born with hydrocephalus, which is a condition that causes fluid to accumulate in the brain, causing a child's head to become enlarged.
I know someone.
Which I've heard of this before.
I've actually known one. I had a cousin that actually had that, so I know exactly what it looks like. So, yeah.
These children were said to have been abandoned by their families to be cared for by a cruel doctor. The doctor reportedly did twisted and cruel experiments on them until they eventually rose up against their tormentor and burned his mansion to the ground before escaping into the surrounding woods.
That's sad.
Very much so.
I mean, that's a sad story. I mean, and I'm not saying it's true, but if there was even a kernel of truth in that, that's very sad. And I don't doubt that stuff like that did not go on.
Oh, 100%.
Especially back then. People were experimenting and doing they probably, heck, today still
People
are.
with deformities were considered freaks.
Oh, yeah.
Subhuman.
So, I mean, oh my gosh.
So it was perfectly normal for people, like scientists and stuff, to just experiment on them.
Exactly. It's so sad.
Anyways, moving on. Sightings of the creatures still persist to this day. Many people report encountering them lurking in the forests or darting across the less traveled roads at night. They are some that still claim they are responsible for the occasional disappearance of a hiker or a child in the area.
That's creepy. And that kind of makes you wonder if maybe there isn't maybe a little kernel of truth, not necessarily like mental patients or something, but maybe some inbred people, living out in the woods somehow. And, you don't know that that's not kind of what may be going on in some of those places, like those really remote places. Oh my gosh.
So these people, I guess, may as well call them people. That's what they are
anyway. So yeah.
So these people are said to have inspired countless works of art, literature, and even local festivals that celebrate the spookier side of this state.
Oh yeah, why not? I guess. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not shine a light on it? I mean, because there could be, like I said, there could be some truth to some of it. I mean, I don't know, but let's hope it's not, that really sad thing happened. But yeah, there's definitely could be some that one could have some actual legitimacy.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, maybe not a whole colony of them or something, but maybe a few at the very least that could just be people who are like not necessarily inbred, but maybe just live out in those woods that don't really interact with people that maybe do have the hydras. A few of them do have that or something. Who knows?
So moving on to the next cryptid, the Black Dog of Hanging Hills. Located in the Hanging Hills of Meriden is supposedly a spectral black dog that has been reported to be haunting the rocky slopes and dense forests of central Connecticut for over a century.
Oh, that's creepy. You hear about the black dog a lot.
Yeah.
I've heard, there's several places all over the world you hear about it. But yeah.
So, sightings of the hound date back to at least the 1800s, where there were numerous reports of sightings coming from hikers, hunters, and the locals of that area. Some describe it as a large, shaggy beast with glowing red eyes, while others say that it is a sleek-like creature that can seemingly melt into the darkness. Very creepy, and I love every bit of it.
Either way, it's creepy. I mean, even if it's a big shaggy dog, or if it's, I guess the sleek one that melts into the shadows would be creepier, but still.
Reminds me of a creature we covered during one of our earliest episodes, like one of our earliest cryptid episodes. The black dog that would just appear at a wedding, and just kill the groom.
Right, it was crazy. Yeah, I remember.
Honestly, I'm surprised I still remember it.
Yeah, it was like coming up in churches and all kinds of stuff that usually they don't do.
Actually, I can't remember what it was called now. I'll have to go back and look at that because now I'm curious.
Either. It had something like Black Chuck or something.
That was it. That was Black Chuck. Anyways, getting off track here. Just consider it a plug for one of our earlier episodes.
It is definitely. It's a good one. It's crazy.
So, the legend goes that if you spot this dog once, it is an omen of joy. However, if you see it a second time, sorrow is soon to come into your life. Although if you're unlucky to happen upon a dog for the third time, then you may as well get your affairs in order, as death will not be far behind. So
yeah, so 3. It's even the third time.
The rule of 3.
Oh, goodness.
Why does so many things come down to the rule of 3?
I don't know, but it does. It's even like deaths, they come in 3s, they say, and all that. Yeah.
So, on to the origins of this creature. The origins can be traced to a work of fiction, which, yay, that's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, really, right?
So, in a short story that was published in 1898 by W.H.C. Pynchon, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
Like that,
it's Pynchon for those who want to check it out yourselves. So, the story was named The Black Dog in the Connecticut Quarterly. The story, which is set in the Hanging Hills, tells the tale of a spectral black dog and its 3-tiered curse, which, of course, is meeting the dog 3 times with each encounter after the first, causing grief and death.
Right.
So, over the years, the dog has been blamed for several hiking accidents and deaths that have taken place in the Hanging Hills. The legend of the black dog is not unique to only Connecticut, as there are variations of these creatures all around the world, as we just went off on a tangent about.
Yeah, there definitely are.
So, they're often, and almost always, described as harbingers of death and misfortune, some believing that they are a reflection of our own primal fears of the darkness and the unknown.
Possibly.
So, probably one of my favorites on this list.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's interesting. It is. I mean, it's creepy. I mean, just imagining seeing it. And a lot of times they have like these glowing red eyes or something like that's all you could see, and that's spooky to think about.
Oh yeah,
God, and they're big most of the time. They're like just a little normal
doesn't
dog.
even have to be anything supernatural either. That's just naturally something that drives fear in
it. Does. It's creepy. It is, and I do like it.
So, moving on from Connecticut, our next state is Delaware, starting with the Pukwudgie, a cryptid from Native American folklore, as many of these have been from our series. The Pukwudgie is described as being a small, gray-skinned humanoid creature that boasts a large, bulbous head and large ears with a wide, flat nose.
Well, if it wasn't for the nose and ears, it would kind of look like a little miniature alien, a little, gray skin, big head.
Honestly, this makes me think of like a goblin or imp.
Sort of. I mean, yeah, kind of what they described as too, more or less, you know.
So they're said to stand approximately 2 to 3 feet in height, or less than a meter for those who don't use the imperial system. So they're said to have a mischievous, trickster-like personality, and they are said to roam around the forests and swamps of the northeastern United States, particularly in Delaware. So, most descriptions are the same, with only one major discrepancy. Some claim that they have long, scrawny limbs, while others claim that they have short, chubby ones. So, that's a pretty big discrepancy.
It is. Unless they can make their arms grow or like they can pull them in or something. I mean, I don't know.
Or unless one is just a subspecies of the other.
Possibly. Who knows?
Or it could just be like a maybe they do, maybe they don't thing.
Man, who knows? Yeah, maybe it's just either way. Maybe some of them have
like humans.
Yeah.
Some of us are completely different from others.
Yeah, I mean, like somebody's born dwarfism and somebody's born like a twins. I mean, I've even seen that where one had dwarfism and one didn't, you know. So it happens. I mean, it's odd.
Oh, yeah.
You know, crazy stuff happens. So sure.
Anyways, they're said to be able to appear and disappear at will and are well known for their mischievous behavior. They're said to be able to cast spells and curses on humans, and that they can shoot arrows that are filled with, quote-unquote, magical energy.
Oh, no. That sounds scary. Actually kind of does. What is this magical energy?
I don't know. What I'm imagining is not scary at all, but, yeah.
To imagine it, it doesn't sound scary. I mean, it sounds cute.
It does. Like very much so.
Short thing with its little arms and its little bow and arrow shooting its little arrow. I don't know.
I imagine an Ewok, personally.
Sort of. I mean, it kind of makes you think of that without, you know, the hair, but yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound scary.
It really doesn't. So, they're also said to be able to shapeshift into other animals, such as wolves and bears.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Crazy. You wouldn't think it would be like
that's the scary part.
A lot bigger, you know. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, that is scary.
So they're known to live and roam wild and desolate live in wild and desolate places where humans rarely venture, like caves. Or in that case, it's where humans should rarely venture.
Yeah, a lot of these places, that's very true. Very, very true. We've saw many depictions of people that definitely should have stayed out of some caves and things. Oh my gosh.
So, they're also said to be shy of humans and will normally try to avoid them if possible, which is kind of a relief.
Yeah.
It's not just an all-out hostile creature.
Not all-out hostile, right.
So, in some Native American folklore, they're described as friendly spirits who are helpful to humans, and if treated with respect. However, in other stories, they're depicted to be mischievous tricksters who like to play pranks on humans and are said to be very territorial and will attack if provoked.
Well, it does say if provoked, so that makes me think more you're doing something, you know, and, you know, maybe you deserve it at that point if you're provoking something. So, yeah.
So, moving on to the next one, and quick disclaimer here, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly. The Lois Merman. Or Lois Merman. This is a supposedly mummified corpse of a merman, which can actually still be viewed today at the Zwanendeel Museum in the town of Lois.
Oh, well, we need to head down there. We need to see this merman now.
By the way, it's Lewes, which It's spelled the same way as a town, or as like an English town, so
We hope that's the pronounce.
very much so. Gifted to the Lois family in the 1800s by a sea captain, the piece appears to be a small man with a fish-like body and tail, but with humanoid arms and a head. The mouth is wide open with little teeth visible.
Oh, that's creepy in a way.
Very much so.
I don't know why I just this.
The family kept it in their possession for over a century before they began loaning it to the museum. The last of the family died in 1985, which left the piece's fate to those in the community. They then raised $250 to keep the creature on display at the museum, where it still sits to this day.
It is kind of funny to think about. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's probably not a merman, but it would be kind of cool to see in real life.
Very much so. Also, the fact that it only took them $250 in this time, and today that is nothing. It costs more than that to get groceries for a family of 3.
Oh, gosh, don't even remind me. But I know. Yes.
Anyways, so many believe that the piece was made in China in the mid-19th century using a shrunken monkey head, fish, ivory, glass, oak, stain, varnish, and dye.
Most likely something like
Yeah.
that. But it's still kind of cool. It is.
Very much so.
Just the artistic quality of it for that time. I mean, I saw pictures of it. It's actually pretty neat looking, I mean, I wouldn't say, it's like convincing per se, but yeah,
No,
I mean, it's
probably not.
It's not a bad looking little thing. So, I mean, it's interesting that somebody even was creative enough to do something like that. It's still cool, because I mean, why not, right?
Yeah. So moving on to our next state, Florida.
Woohoo!
And this is going to be a callback to my last episode, the Wampus cat.
Oh, yes.
So the Wampus cat is usually described as a large, 6-legged cat with a human-like face.
Oh, that's creepy.
Very much so. Its body is said to be covered in dark, matted fur. Its eyes are often said to glow an eerie yellow or green in the darkness. Some even say that it has supernatural abilities, such as the power to hypnotize its prey or to transform into a human form.
Well, that's creepy too, in a way.
Very much so. Its most distinctive feature being its 6 legs, which has led to some researchers to believe it is simply an animal that has a genetic mutation or a rare birth defect.
Possibly.
Very possible.
Could be, yeah.
It's not entirely uncommon.
Oh, no, because I mean, I've saw things where even dogs, and things like just, it happens where they have extra leg or something, it doesn't happen often, but sure, it happens. I mean, heck, humans do, it happens.
So, the Wampus cat's origins are rooted in Cherokee and Appalachian folklore, where it is depicted as a creature of punishment and retribution. As many were. There were so many in just Native American folklore that represented punishment and retribution.
Absolutely.
That's kind of a major theme.
Oh, yeah, absolutely is.
Actually, with many and almost every religion I've ever heard of.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely depictions of in almost any folklore or anything. I mean, yes, there's going to be something that's going to be a symbol of retribution, punishment, something.
So, one well-known legend tells the story of a young woman that was transformed into a Wampus cat as a punishment for her curiosity and disobedience. And how did she accomplish this, you might be wondering? Well, she decided to wear the skin of a mountain lion in order to spy on a sacred man's ceremony.
Okay.
Which, okay then.
That doesn't sound that bad, but I don't know. Okay.
So in rightful retribution, quote unquote.
Exactly.
Very heavy air quotes there.
Oh, definitely.
So in rightful retribution for her spying, he cursed her to roam the world as a half-human, half-feline creature. Which, some people's going to be real happy about.
Oh, sure.
Pictures of that.
Oh, definitely.
So, anyways, depending on the region, the Wampus cat is said to be either a vengeful spirit that punishes those that have wronged it or have transgressed against the natural order of the world, while others say it is a benevolent spirit that guards the forests and protects the innocent from harm.
I'd rather think of it like that, I guess.
Yeah, that's the nicer image.
I'd rather think of it. I mean, I'm not saying that it wouldn't necessarily take retribution in certain, to protect something innocent, but I'd rather think of it like that than just some crazy cats out there just attacking people or what, you know what I'm saying.
So, there are reported sightings throughout the southeastern U.S., including Florida. Witnesses often describe hearing the cat's eerie screams and yowls echoing around them, which is creepy.
Yeah, it is.
Some have claimed to have seen the creature's eyes glowing out in the darkness, and some have said to have caught glimpses of it as it darted through the trees.
Mm-hmm.
In many reports, it is said to have left behind weird six-toed tracks in the mud or snow. Now that's fairly unique. You don't often hear about something having 6 toes and 6 legs.
No, that is a little odd.
So, as with the majority of cryptids, its origin story is varied depending on who is asked.
No, of course.
Some believe it is a mythological representation of the dangers and uncertainties that lie in the wilderness, and that it serves as a cautionary tale for those that enter there, while others say that it may be a rare or undiscovered feline species. That could be a remnant population of a prehistoric cat that managed to survive in the remote forests of the surrounding area.
Still,
Believers of this theory point out that the creature's 6-legged appearance as evidence of potential evolutionary divergence from known feline species, which is very much possible.
it is. I mean, even a possible remnant of a prehistoric cat. I mean, it could be. I mean, things evolve because they have to. So if it didn't have to evolve, it wouldn't. So, I mean, it could still be very similar. It's just like crocodiles and stuff. I mean, they've evolved some or changed some, what they were like back, but they're still pretty similar, to what they were back supposedly, when they originated.
Yeah, very much so.
You know what I'm saying? Who knows?
Also, last note here for this one. Others claim that the cat is just a misidentification of another animal, like a bobcat or a lion, which is very much possible.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I think probably a lot of them, that's probably what it is. It's probably just another animal that somebody just glimpsed and got just a glimpse of and got scared and just thought that. Or, like we said, a birth defect of something, like a mountain lion that did have an extra leg, or you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. Something crazy that, you wouldn't normally see.
So, the next creature on this list, and last creature, is the mahamba, which is said to be found in the rivers and swamps of Florida. The mahamba is a cryptid that strikes fear into the hearts of those that have heard the tales of its size and appetite.
Ooh.
It is normally described as an enormous crocodile.
Oh, God. That's all I need to hear. Yes.
Yeah, really, though.
I don't want to think about it in Lake Placid, alligators, crocodiles.
I've had enough alligators and crocodiles since I played Resident Evil 2.
There you go. That's enough. That one was enough for me.
So, witnesses claim that it is a 60 or 50 to 60 feet in length, or 15 to 18 meters.
Good God.
Yes.
50 to 60. Oh, God bless. That is enormous.
Actually, I think that's bigger than the Resident Evil crocodile.
Oh, God, I think so. I think that thing was only maybe about 30 foot looking at it. I mean, just...
Even the remake crocodile wasn't that big.
Jesus.
Actually, thinking about it.
Okay, so this thing is...
massive.
You're going to see it, basically.
Yeah, you're going to see it coming. Or hear it coming.
Definitely.
It's said to dwarf even the largest recorded saltwater crocodiles, which was recorded at 20 feet and 3 inches long, which... Oh my God.
That's the biggest one that was ever recorded, yeah.
That is massive, though.
So that's like 3 times bigger, at least. I mean, thereabouts.
Yeah.
Depending, Good God.
I don't think God is present here.
Yeah, that does sound like some Umbrella Corporation experimentation going on. Good grief. What the heck? But okay.
So, to make matters worse, it's said to be covered in thick, armored scales.
Oh, great. Yeah, that makes it even better there.
It's said to be incredibly aggressive and territorial.
Oh, well, why wouldn't it be?
Many say that it has a particular taste for the flesh of humans.
Oh, well, that makes it just sounded better and better. Let's head to Florida. I mean, let's head on down. We're right.
I'm starting to understand why Florida gets so much flack for its animals and wildlife.
My gosh. Only in Florida, that's a little saying, Andy. I mean, really, right? They have some crazy stuff going on.
I think the only place in the world that I know of that could match Florida is Australia.
Yeah, really, right? For the crazy creatures they supposedly got running around down there. Good God.
So, anyways, it said that it will go to great lengths to get its prey.
Oh, God. That's even worse. Oh, gosh. That just makes you not even want to get anywhere near water in Florida ever.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So it's going to get even better here in a second.
Oh, I'm sure.
Very much, trust me. So its jaws are loaded with razor-sharp teeth that are capable of crushing bones and tearing through the toughest hides with ease.
What? So you have no protection.
Pretty much.
You're just out there living your life waiting on this giant crocodile to eat you.
Yep. So one of the most famous sightings of this beast comes from 1907 and involves an incident involving a group of construction workers that were building a bridge across the St. Johns River.
Mm-hmm.
According to them, they were going about their day when they spotted the crocodile swimming below. They claimed the creature was as long as the bridge itself. Yeah, with a massive tooth-filled mouth. The workers all fled in a panic, and when they returned the next day, the creature had gone. And there have been numerous reports of giant crocodiles that were spotted in Florida's waterways, some having even claimed to have narrow escapes when caught in the water, either swimming or boating.
That would be my luck. I would be out swimming or boating and see one of these fucking things if they were real. Good God, I'd probably just have a heart attack and die. I wouldn't have to worry about
That's probably the best option.
I'd probably just freeze.
That's the best outcome.
Oh my God. I mean, even thinking about trying to outswim that thing or something, Jesus.
This whole thing sounds like a Resident Evil BOW.
It sounds like something.
Just this whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
I never want to go to Florida now.
I'm telling you. I mean, that is, ugh. I mean, because there are actually crocodiles down there, is what, and
that's why this exists.
Whatever, but Jesus.
So,
I don't even want to see alligators and crocodiles out wandering around.
To be fair, no, I don't either.
Myself, I mean, if it's away from me, sure, but, I don't care so much, but I guess you'd get used to it, but you see these freaking videos, people finding them in their garage and just going in their houses and everything. I don't know if I'd want to. No, I don't really feel that comfortable with them, but whatever.
So,
anyway.
anyways, that's going to be it for this episode.
Those were some good ones, though. Those were actually some interesting ones.
This last one was something special.
It was. It was out there. It was out there, but it was fun. It was fun, definitely.
Definitely my absolute second favorite.
It was crazy, yeah. God, I don't want to even think about that thing. God.
So I'm going to turn it over to the Belle now so she can tell you about her next episode.
So we're going to continue on with some more of the more haunted places in the U.S. And we're also going to be concluding a little true crime in the next episode.
Ooh.
When we talk about the Amityville house in New York.
Probably one of the most famous hauntings in America.
Yep, there you go. So don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And don't forget to
stay disturbed.